Kelly here with Inspiring Women on a Mission, and my friend Nancy. And today we've got a kind of a neat topic. I think something we can all relate to. And we're going to talk about not keeping things inside, not bottling them up and keeping them all to yourself, but opening up and sharing. I think that's part of the human experience. And we should be able to have, at least one person in your life that you can trust.
What comes to mind for me, bottling up is connects to a few sort of dots in my life. One of them, when I'm bottling things up, guess what I do? I stuff with food, and it's taken me years to figure out that I actually do that.
So that's a comfort for you.
Well, yeah, if I'm not able to talk to who I need to talk to about somebody, say something's bothering me. Say Kelly's got that sweater on and that's my sweater and she hasn't given it back. I mean, let's make something light of something small. And if I don't know how to talk to her about that, and I don't think, say, hey Kelly, you've had it for a couple of weeks, time to return that, or but on a more serious note, I mean something more important than that.
Right.
I took me years to figure out that I actually eat. Some people perhaps drink. Some people maybe compulsively shop. I mean, these things evidence themselves, I think, in many areas of our lives.
They'll manifest in a way that may start out innocently enough, but can really morph into something completely, out of control.
Sure.
Sometimes dangerous.
Yes.
Whatever it happens to be. If you feel like you can't go to a person and
address whatever the issue is.
Be honest and be open and be vulnerable sometimes. I think that's the other part, is that people don't want to be vulnerable in some ways, or you're trying to be strong and have everything in control. And I know for me in the past, when I've had issues like this, I'm just the opposite. I had something happen to me and I didn't want to tell anybody about it. I was young at the time, around 17, and I just decided that I was trying to protect people. So I kept it all inside. And when I keep when I keep things inside like that and just think, oh, it's going to go away, it kind of just eats at me, and it ate at me so much to where I almost ended up with like an ulcer in high school. And I couldn't eat because I had like this, whether it was a rock or something just burning in there, the thought of food made me physically sick. So I started losing weight and not being able to keep it on.
So at some point in time, do you explode like verbally, or do you explode at a person, or how does yours then come out at some point in time? Because I know how mine sort of comes out, if it's inappropriate or not.
You know what, sometimes it's like a major eruption where all of a sudden it just builds, and then you just have this huge blow up, and people around here are going, whoa, where'd
that come from?
Yeah, what the hell happened? Like, she's such a calm person, like what's going on here? So mine could manifest like that, where I'll just lose it completely. It could also come out where, for me, it was probably at that time in my life more whether not eating, but it was shopping. I love to shop, so let's go and buy it.
I mentioned that a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, no, that hit home to me, because I would go, well, shoot, I'll just go buy something pretty. I'll go buy a new dress, and
makes her
some
feel
shoes,
better.
a handbag, whatever, makeup. Yeah, didn't matter.
It's a temporary fix.
Temporary fix. It makes you feel really good, and then the bills start coming in, and now you've got a whole nother problem on your hands. So.
And our society calls it what? Retail therapy.
Retail therapy can be very
dangerous, and it can create families to get into trouble, right? I mean, depending on how bad you shop. That makes me think of another one that some other people do, which is perhaps gambling.
Yes.
That's an outlet for people who are maybe not able to talk about when they're bottling things up.
I was never successful at gambling, so that's why I went to shopping.
Right. So Kelly was better at shopping, but the bills still roll in whether you have the money or not to pay them. So my question to you, our listeners out there, is bottling stuff up. I know we all do it in different areas of our life for different reasons. Kelly and I would really, really love some feedback, some humor, perhaps there's no humor in what you've gone through, but hopefully you can get a few laughs from some of the things that we are making light of, and perhaps see yourself in us, and see your friends, see your family, because we're all human and we all walk this road.
And maybe if you've gone through something like this, how did you overcome it?
Yeah, how did you overcome
yeah.
and that you were able to be more present with yourself when you're in pain about something or you wanted to address
Yeah.
something with somebody?
For me, I journaled. I
Excellent.
actually started in my late 20s. Started seeing a counselor about some things, and I remember even telling the counselor in there that I felt like I had to have control over everything, and she's like, "Why do you need so much control? Like, there's so many things out of your control, and you're trying to control these. It's making you a little crazy." And so that, at first I completely ignored that advice, but then as I got to thinking about it, and that was through journaling, then I got to thinking, you know what, she's onto something here, and I have to recognize that. So for a lot of people, they really need to get some of this stuff completely off their chest. What I used to say was, when I was going through a really difficult time, and this was probably when I was going through divorce, and I didn't, when I was first separate, I didn't tell anybody anything, nobody whatsoever, and I would have this recurring dream every night, and it was me walking upstairs holding on to these 2 really heavy suitcases, and I would have this stupid dream, that and the tornado, every single night. And finally, because I felt I didn't want my neighbors to know, I didn't want to burden my family, my father just died, I was going through this whole turmoil. But there is always somebody you can talk to. So I found actually a priest at church. I was going to an Episcopal church in this town I lived in, and he was extremely supportive. And
Fantastic.
he was about my age. I think we celebrated our 40th birthdays the same year or whatever. Really nice guy, very calming individual, and he encouraged me to go get some help, which I did. So
Fantastic.
I went and talked to a counselor, because these people have to keep everything, like, they're not going to blab all over the neighborhood or whatever. So just talking to those 2 individuals made a huge, huge difference for me. And I think there's a lot of people out there like that. So I really encourage you, there's always somebody who has a good heart and a good ear who will listen to what you have to say, and that you can unburden yourself with some of these issues that you might be dealing with, whatever they may be. So really, really, counselor,
Your family doctor, if you don't have a friend, and if you're not affiliated with any church or religious organization, and you don't have a neighbor or a really close friend nearby, absolutely start with your family doctor or a medical clinic, a drop-in, and ask for referral. And
we're all in this together, basically. We're all in this big blue planet together. There is somebody out there that is willing to lend a hand, lend an ear, and a shoulder to cry on if that's what you need.
Absolutely. And just to wind up then, thanks so much for listening. This is my dear friend Kelly, and I'm Nancy, and we are Inspiring Women on a Mission.
Thanks a lot, and leave some comments if you'd like to. We'd love to hear from you.